What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of ESO Daily, man. I'm just going to be hammering them out today, I swear to God. Okay, so, I had a little downtime in between, and a couple of, suggested videos come up, and it's funny. It's hilarious, actually, because I'm browsing, and I see this, and I'm not going to call out certain players, um, but it's funny because one video is suggested about, Morrowind and CP points, not my video, obviously. But and it was a known player, um, and they were talking about diminishing returns, and I was just laughing. I mean, I was pretty much just laughing so hard because these players have chosen they chose to ignore the DR system, the DRs in this game up until this point, right? Until the devs kind of just spelled it out. By the way, and it's like, oh, it's new. No, it's not new. It's not new. But now they're acknowledging it. They're completely acknowledging it, and it was funny because once again I have been people have been busting my balls about everything under the sun since I was discussing diminishing returns. And everybody's like, oh, diminishing returns really don't play that much of a factor to your DPS. Okay, bullshit. But, in the overall scheme, it does. And now everybody's paying attention to it. Okay, so here's kind of my opinion. I find it hilarious that for over 2 years now, these players who claimed to be so good and stuff just ignored it, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm the best or I will say I was right, but I'm not going to say I was the best. There's different ways of approaching it, so once again, not the best. But was I right about diminishing returns? Of course. Well, every class-based game has a diminishing return somewhere in the system. And it's not just in the CP points, guys, in this game. I want you guys to realize that. This game has diminishing returns on your crit value, your traits, and your CP. And nowhere else, really, that I've seen such a dramatic effect, but it does. There's diminishing returns layered in and out of this game. And it has to be. There has to be a diminishing effect. But my opinion on the players now taking acknowledge of it is kind of a good thing, because at least they're stopping. They're stopping and realizing the bullshit that they fed players for a long time now, right? So I'm glad. I'm actually happy. I'm happy that they're finally addressing this issue. I'm happy about it. I really am, because now when I play with other players, at least it's not just me arguing with somebody who thinks they know about diminishing returns. And I feel that's a good thing. I feel that's good for the community that these players are finally addressing this. Which, if you're my subscriber, you already knew about it. Like months ago, you already found out about diminishing returns. You already knew about it if you were my subscriber. So, so I'm happy that the players are addressing it. The one thing that gets to me, though, they're passing it off like it's a new thing with Morrowind. That's where I kind of this is why I laugh at these players. Okay, I'm not debating their skills. Okay, don't get me wrong. A lot of these players are skilled players. They get through content, they do it very successfully, and I'm not debating or dismissing their capability as players. But they're passing it off as if, oh my God, now we have to take a look at diminishing returns. Now you have to? Okay, all right, whatever. So, and they're not even apologizing to their subscribers. They're not even saying, hey, by the way, guys, we're sorry. We fucked up, and we've been telling you to stack this entire time. Well, guess what? You shouldn't have been stacking at all. Okay? So, I'm just putting it out there, guys. These are kind of my opinions. I'm hoping to get this random, man. I pick up the dailies. I'm trying to do whatever. But honestly, it is real, but guys, I mean, I want going forward in anything in MMOs. Okay, you guys have to realize that diminishing returns are a factor in math. And one video I want to go over in different curves, or otherwise known as in different variables, but it's technically known as in different curves. And we also can see that in the CP system in this game. All right, as far as what gear you pick up, how you allocate your CP points based on gear parameters, right? You'll find in different curves, right? So in one video, I want to kind of generalize the topic of indifferent curves and how those indifferent variables can, equal out what you're trying to accomplish with your build, depending. So that's another thing that hopefully down the road I want to address because, once again, it's relative, but, how many of these guys really understand that? I don't know. I have no idea. Obviously, if they ignore diminishing returns, I imagine they don't really understand the indifferent curves. But it is what it is. And once again, I'm not a mathematician, guys. I'm not saying it. I've just had a lot of experience doing all this type of stuff. I've been doing it for a while. Also, it helped that I studied kind of some of this math in, not some of, a lot of this math in business related schooling. So I'm not a programmer by any means. I mean, if you ask me about my calculus, I didn't take calculus. I mean, I took trigonometry, which now is incorporated in calculus, but I'm not good at calculus at all. I got a C minus in my trig class. I mean, come on, man. I'm not really spectacular at math. I'm okay. I'm sufficient enough to do what needs to be done. But the thing about it is, all of these little different things do play a fact. They do play, they are relative in what you're trying to accomplish. I don't know what's up with this Q system. Should have already gotten it. I think I'm in for a heel roll. But yeah, I kind of want to address it. I think it's funny. So when you guys start watching whoever, like I said, I'm not going to call players out on it. When they start addressing their builds with DRs, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a huge favor. You'll find it hilarious. If this is the type of person you are. I'm demented sometimes, I'll be honest. You'll just go back to another one of their builds, a previous build. Doesn't matter. Anything before Morrowind or whatever. And see how their CP points were allocated. If they were stacked, that tells you something. Now, it's okay to be human. It's okay to be flawed. I'm not saying it isn't. But for God's sakes, guys, come on, man. At least acknowledge, hey, by the way, guys, we kind of fucked up along the way. I did. I fucked up in this game. I actually believed that, and I'll tell you guys this for a fact. I'm not used to dots critting. And in this game, I believe that principle to be true, and it wasn't. It wasn't whatsoever. So I was wrong. Completely 100% absolutely wrong. I even made a video addressing that I was wrong. And I think being wrong is a good thing in life. I actually like being wrong. The reason why I think it's important to address that when you're wrong is because you're learning, right? You're humbling yourself. You're stating you are human, which is good. That's a good thing, and that you made a mistake and you learn from it. Now you can go forward and tell everybody, yes, I made a mistake. I made a huge mistake. So I'm here to address it. Going forward, we're going to be taking a look at this. I think that's a better display of character than just passing it off like it's a new concept, right? Because it's not. It's not a new concept. And, and if anything, nobody likes to be wrong. I get it. Nobody wants to be wrong. But the fact of it is, we all are at times. And I think that's a good thing. It shows that we can address that, right? We can go out and say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm going to try to correct it, try to make it right, and do the best I can moving forward, not to repeat this type of mistake again. But, are we going to still make mistakes going forward? Of course. Of course we are. We are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. And there's no difference. And this is why I'm always telling my viewers, don't get set. I never call anything a definite. That's why I give out my builds and say, this is what I'm getting from it. To me, when you say the words best in slot in a game like this, you're going to bite yourself in the ass. Because the game's not designed like that. This game is definitely not designed like that. Because the reason why you don't have a best in slot is because the passives and the gear coordinates towards your passives, and depending on your traits and depending on your mundus, all of these factors will affect each class differently in their DPS. So, with that in mind, for example, the Nightblade gets a nice crit bonus depending on what skills are applied on the bar. So, having a precise weapon might not benefit my Nightblade as much as it would benefit my Sorcerer. Because my Sorcerer gets spell power, right? But lacks crit value. So the precise would be a lot better trait for my Sorcerer versus my Nightblade, right? Same thing with your gear sets. I'm always telling people, you cannot sit there and say something's best in slot. That's bullshit. It's bullshit, guys. It's completely bullshit. Because your class and your passives will determine what you really need to maximize your stat pool. Okay, so once again, I'm not debating about trial sets here, guys, because like I said, every trial, when you're doing hardcore trials, most builds, now I will stress that, most, need a primary trial set. Most of them do. However, there are a few builds that don't need it and get away without using a trial set. But even if you have a trial set, let's say every one of my Magicka users are using Infallible Ether as a base set. My secondary set will change based on my class, right? Or what I'm needing. My Mundus also will change accordingly, depending on those values that I'm getting in my character sheet. So, once again, these things do play a very important role when you're taking a look at the overall stats, how they're applied. Like the DK here lacks Magicka, so I'll use maybe 1 or 2 more pieces of Infuse to maximize my resource pool than I would on any other character. Same thing with the Sorcerer lacks crit, so if I'm using the Thief, I might roll 1 more piece of Divine to hit a higher end crit percentage, depending on the build. So, and once again, I'm not trying to say I know everything. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not discrediting the players who are now addressing their skills. I'm not saying anything against their skills. Obviously, they have proven time again that they're capable of doing the content. But as far as optimizing, that was never the case. That was never the case. Because the simple fact of it is they ignored the fundamental law of math which applied to diminishing effects. And when you do that, you're gimping yourself. Okay? I'm not saying I could do it better. I'm just saying they weren't as optimized as they thought they were. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like me coming out and addressing it like this. But it's the truth. It is. It's the facts. And I'm not telling you to unsubscribe to them. They're good players. They're solid players. But what I'm asking you to do, don't always believe what somebody says. Not even me. Get what you can out of each of whoever you watch. But don't be afraid to try something different. Because you might stumble across something that everybody else overlooked. And that's that's the message I'm trying to give to you guys. Okay? Try something a little different if you think that something might work. Don't be afraid to do that. All right? Do not be afraid to do that, guys. Because that's what's one best thing about these type of games. You can go out and try something and see if you get a better result. And if it works for you, hey, who's to argue with you and how you play your game? All right? At the end of the day, if you get the content done, who can say shit? Nobody. Right? And that's exactly what I'm saying. These players have proven that they're capable of doing the content. But, I'm just you know, I want players to start realizing, we're human, we're flawed, we all make mistakes. So, and I don't know why I'm not getting a kill, but I just wanted to address this, put it out there. My opinions, my thoughts on it. Yeah, I'm sick and I'm demented, and yes, one time I actually was eating a ball of popcorn when one player was addressing it. I grabbed a bowl of popcorn, was watching his video, and laughing my ass off because everybody had came on. It was actually post. Well, you should watch this character's videos. And I was like, okay, sure. I've never been to his channel. I don't even know who this dude is, but well, whatever. If they suggest it, well, obviously they're buying into it for some reason. And I go, and he's stacked in every freaking video. And I was like, and they're hounding me. It's like, oh, it's not relative, diminishing effects. And I was just back against the wall, as usual, trying to defend myself and trying to explain to people who didn't want to listen. And then that player puts a video out going over diminishing returns. And yes, when he was doing it, I was relishing it. I was eating popcorn, laughing my ass off, relishing it, just enjoying every minute of him acting like he knew what the fuck he was talking about with diminishing effects. It was beautiful. It was awesome. I'll tell you that for a fact. So yeah, most of these players know who I am by now, and I'm probably one of the most hated players in the game. Why? Because I challenge people's thought process. That's why they hate me. I come out and I do things that other players aren't doing, and that's why they hate me. They hate me for it. They hate me. They're like, fuck you, Mystic. We hate you. You suck. You suck. You think you know it all. You suck. And I get a kick out of it, to be honest with you guys. I don't care how many viewers I get, how many subscribers I get. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. I want to do something different. I want to throw a curveball. I'm tired of people throwing it straight down across the plate and people knocking it out of the ballpark, and and they think, oh, I got a home run, yay! And all of a sudden, yeah, they're doing good, but then you got the other team who's doing slightly better, right? Why? Because there's no defensive on the other team. They're hitting them, but they can't play defense for shit. So the other team scores more than they do. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many home runs you get. It's who has the most points on the board at the end of the day. And, it is the way it is, man. Throw those curveballs. Throw them. Keep it changed up as much as possible. But, yeah. So I just wanted to kind of address this, what I thought. I know it sounds like I'm egotistical, arrogant, and a douchebag. Honestly, I don't care. I don't give a shit. And I'm not here. I'm somewhat gloating, but at the same time, I just want you guys to take a look at it for what it is. Guys, take a look at it. Okay, these people were wrong. Why? Because they're human. Am I wrong at times? Hell yes, I am. A lot. I can be wrong a lot of times. Why? I'm human. All right? So don't get set as definites, man. Do not believe everything you hear. Take what you can, roll with it, make everything your own, and embrace the possibilities. All right? This is Mr. Craven. This is the SO Daily. Once again, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.